The next trendy story is about a young lady found dead in her apartment in the US. Cindy, a single lady based in the US, lived alone in her apartment at Ohio. A friend who hasn't heard from her for a while tried to call her, but she was unreachable, so she decided to visit. When she got to her door, no one answered, so she went to the leasing office and called the cops. Cindy's door was first opened and her dead body was found on her bed, already decomposing. She had just completed a master's degree and there are reports that she might be battling with depression. Let's watch the video, then we'll come back to analyze the story. It is tagged "Young Lady Found Dead in Her Apartment in the US." Stay with us. You're still watching the buzz. First of all, I'd like to send my condolences to the family of Cindy. That's a very sad one. But the thing is, this is what most Africans face over there, going there to get a degree, acquiring a skill or whatever it is the case may be. They end up being lonely. It affects their mental health. They go into depression, probably because of one reason or the other, which are still unknown to us. So, Mr. Femi Chacha, what's your take on this story?
I join you and the Galaxy family to, express our condolence to her and her family. And for some of us that have reasons to study outside the shores of, you see, these are some of the reasons why I always love Nigeria. You will just have one nosy neighbor. As in, you will, no matter what, you will have, even if you will, that will, or you have children of neighbors
that will make noise,
that will ensure that you talk to somebody. But when you are abroad, everyone minds their business, and that's why I advise. I've been talking to quite a lot of students I teach, that most of them end up going abroad to do their masters, PhD at young level. Now they attend an institution, they leave homes for Harrison, and they were being caged when they were at home. You understand what I'm saying? Parents don't allow them relate. Then they go to a university also that still gives them the triangle kind of lifestyle, just from your hostel to the church to your, I don't know if you get, they end up going abroad and they want to still sustain that kind of mentality. And you now see that when they're still in this country, it's easy to still have friends. But you see abroad, because of racism, because of certain factors, you don't even, especially when you're an African, the color of your skin is, I understand, it's difficult to even relate with this. Then when you now have inferiority complex, it becomes worse. Because you don't even have the courage to talk to someone else, because you already shut down in your mind. There's this bias that they always look down on me because I'm from Africa. So it shuts many of them, and they become so withdrawn to themselves, and before you know it, the mental health is affected. Sadly, because they've relocated abroad for a few years, the Nigerian friends that they have, they already shut them down and blocked them. They don't, because they were trying to show social class. Yes, I know. Many of them don't tell their friends before they relocate. Yeah. And when they do it in such a way that makes them look down on others. So they don't want to check up on them. Even when they chat you up, you think they want to, there's something called is it black tax or something that is where you think everyone abroad feels anyone in Africa or Nigeria wants to always ask for dollar or ask for pound. So you don't want to even, so when somebody says hi, the next thing you're saying, I don't have money. So if you don't have people at home talking to you, then you are not also relating to. Then another thing again is that Africa, we are so religious. It's easy for you to still go to church or go to mosque, but they don't have any prayer points. Well, they don't believe that they have reasons to talk to God or to go to church. So then that's another social gathering that has been shut down again. So how do you now relate? Then in the class, you're probably the only black person in the class. So you have that influence complex to relate with everybody already. So then how
you know the amazing thing is you might even have some other blacks, some Nigerians
that are still
and they will still be pushing
you away. Exactly. So going forward, I think it's now left for parents, for some of us that have had such experience and willing to send their children abroad, please encourage them to be sociable. That you are sociable does not mean you are social or that you are a child of the world. Yeah. But you should be able to walk up. You should have that confidence. Yeah. You send them to trainings. Ask them when they come back. Not what did you learn from training. How many friends did you make today when you went for training? Okay, what do they do? What do they do for a living? When you keep asking such questions, even when my daughter goes, they used to do some things, whatever. My wife is always surprised with the kind of questions I ask when they come back. I don't say, what did you do? How many friends did you make today? What school do they attend? Okay, what do they plan to study in future? Now, it may look curious, but with time I find out that it helps her to inform the kind of conversation she wants to, because my daddy will ask. But I'm helping her so that when we push you, God willing, you will not have reasons to stay on your own and start into depression and things like this. I pray that God gives them the fortitude to actually bear their loss. It's painful. After going through all of that, no, it's actually really painful, sincerely painful.
So, Mr. Matthew, my question to you is, what does this reveal about the dangers of isolation regarding being outside or being still in the country? What does this reveal about the dangers of isolation and mental health struggles?
I think it's very simple, because we have seen this is a consequence of such. And I think people should strive to look at the ways of socializing, because it doesn't matter how you look at it. The way we are wired in Africa is different from those in the Western world.
Yeah.
Because they may be used to it, but you who is coming from an environment where the system of socializing is interacting with people, meeting with your neighbors, you will suddenly go to an environment where it's like it's no longer a norm. So that in itself is another serious area, because you are trying to adjust to a new system.
Yeah.
So I want to say that in some cases, because the world is already a global village in terms of communication, maybe they should even find a way of constantly relating with their loved ones back at home. Even the idea of trying to even make yourself superior, not trying to let your people or your neighbors who are back home know that you are there, I think most of those things is not even necessary.
It's not necessary.
Because that you are even in America, in Britain, does not make you a superhuman being. It doesn't even mean that you'll be more successful than those other in Nigeria. True. So I think that mentality should be addressed. Because if, I don't know what led to her demise, but if she had confided in somebody in her country, I understand maybe she's from Ghana or so, and maybe she's in constant touch with that person, she would have gotten one or two advice that could have even saved her life. So however I look at it, I think this one go directly to Nigerians or Africans who are in diaspora studying. They should find a way of constantly engaging with their people back home.
Thank you so much.
And I also like the fact that, like you said, in Nigeria, somebody will always just come to your door. If it's not the kids, it's the neighbor, it's probably even your parents coming to knock on your door and probably waking you up by 6 o'clock, and you'll be asking, like, what? I left that house so that I can have my privacy, but yet you are not just having your privacy. Anyways, please speak out if you know you're feeling one way or the other, down mentally. However, you're here in diaspora, please talk to somebody, let someone check on you, or you check on people. Allow open communication, not like Femi Chacha said, you are leaving, you sell all your property, finish, and you block every Nigerian that you know. You still need us if you're there, and we still need you. You know, so even though they seem to be asking urgent to get me, I don't so please let your communication be open so people can actually reach out to you and avoid situations like this. And somehow, it could even be the situation back home that could even cause depression. Family is pressuring you, your baby, or you have your own immediate family, they are pressuring you. It could make you fall into depression because probably it's just only you out there. So please talk to someone. It's very important. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I don't know why we're having some very amazing stories today, but let's talk about a parent who was enraged at an absurd school rule. This happened about last week, but we had to treat this, where a parent clashed with school authorities in Ilorin after the school premises refused her entrance because she was wearing an hijab. Well, we've had a lot of cases like this, but this seemed quite different. I think there was an important paper happening that day or so, a class or an exam, and yet she was not allowed into the school because she was putting on an hijab. So we do not know, are we going to call this discrimination, or we're going to say the school, the educational system needs to be more open to people with religion? Let's quickly watch the video, and of course we'll be right back to the studio to discuss this. Stay with us.
Baba ẹ neto láti sọ fún pé kó mọ wọlé ṣe gbọ́ báyìí torí pé ọmọ ń lò jáàbù ẹ wá ní kó mọ wọlé ẹ fẹ́ dá wàhálà lẹ̀ wàhálà ìsìnlẹ̀ fẹ́ dá kalẹ̀ baba ẹ kó wọlé this is.
What did you start? I didn't matter. You are why you giving code of conduct of this school? Why you giving the code of conduct?
Which code of conduct? That will say. So that code of conduct will supersede the law. The code of conduct will supersede the law. Madam, no, if you know what you are saying, you can as well video me. So the code of conduct will supersede the law. Is that what you are saying? The code of conduct will supersede the law. Baba ẹ jẹ́ kó wọlé, yóò wọlé. Baba ẹ jẹ́ kó wọlé. Kò sí wàhálà. Don't rara kò ní your jab. Kò ní your jab. Kò ní your jab. Wear your hijab. Wear your hijab.
Welcome back. Well, I'm going to start with you, Femi Chacha.
Why me? Let's start from Pastor Martin. Why me?
Because you own the school.
Okay.
You're a lecturer. You're a teacher also.
You see,
so I would like to know exactly what you say about this.
I have a bias for things like this, and I'll be very, very clear. One of the I have a school too. And we relate we relate with the community, and fine. By virtue of my religion, we emphasize that our school is a Christian school. But funny enough, over 40% of our students are actually Muslims. Now, at the PTA meetings, they've brought up suggestions that Fridays we can sing Quranic, whatever. We've had a lot of back and forth on Fridays, even if you can't wear hijab. Okay. And the only reason why I keep winning them in all of these meetings is that until we put it in our uniform and print on the hijab as a part of our uniform, then you can't come to school with what is not a uniform. Then they brought up another issue that, okay, if cardigans that does not have, I'm telling you, intellect. It's not shouting kind of a debate. I'm telling you, highly intellectual debate. Okay, if cardigans that do not have the prints of the school is allowed because of the weather, then why should, because of religion, because of the Muslims look at Friday as the
the day.
You understand what I'm trying to say? That why for the sake of Friday they call it Ola Jimo or something like that. Why should then we also began to that's when we now began to enforce that, okay, well, thank you for bringing this. Next week school cardigan will be available. If you do not have school cardigan, you can wear something inside.
Okay.
But
so
provided it's not on our uniform, then, we have to keep learning. But life has gone beyond fighting. What I'm saying is that the approach of that man is enough for them to show resistance. There are ways to go about certain things that, see, if these are people that will have this, for someone to now bring up the issue of cardigan, then you will know that these are highly intellectual people that if you are not really very careful, you will lose pupils. But you have to be cerebral about it. Then what we now do is, okay, we now showed laxity by saying, okay, when we have PTA meetings, somebody will do Muslim prayer, someone will do Christian prayer at both the beginning and end. So with that, they were not expecting that was how the meeting will end. But because of that, you found out that I was just telling my wife that, okay, we're going to call somebody to do this to round up this meeting. And everybody was, and before you know it, everyone was clapping. I said, okay, because of the clapping, they all forgot
what the issue was.
And we found out that 80% complaint. Now, imagine, because they were trying to debate with me, we're now coming from a perspective that you can't argue with us. This is our code of conduct. Which are things I'm hearing from the video. Your approach to it will make them more. And before you know it, the funny thing I love about parents is that you will see those that are in solidarity with that person, and many more people will not want to wear the hijab. Then you will not be scared of losing those students and losing money. Then you will not be doing things for fear of losing your own money, instead of you standing on business and your own convictions. So we should, I think, as Nigerians, as business, it's still also the same thing as Dangote not wanting his members to join. All of these things are still business interests. So it may be little from our own end, and because Dangote is a bigger player, we are looking at it from a larger perspective. Going forward, I think we should be diplomatic in how you express your convictions. You should be diplomatic. You don't need to, and that's why when we understand the use of dialogue and how to allow superior arguments and not this I'm always right
I get
kind of this is my business, you can go to hell kind of mentality.
Let me ask you, so did anybody bring the idea of the hijab, and how did you
I've just explained how they brought it. Yes, so they wanted. So we found a way around explaining it, that see, once we say this is uniform, then we have to, and every of our uniform is printed, then you have to allow us at the school policy level to print on an hijab, and that's when it becomes a part of our uniform. I don't know, maybe you understand what I'm saying. But the truth is, do I have Muslim teachers? Yes, I have. I have Muslim teachers that there's this turban
that they put.
So what matters is covering the head. That's what matters. We have to, and I have top Muslim friends that send their children to Christian school here in Maryland. So we must understand that we must be able to cross that. Then we also understand that, you don't want your child to do so subject because of fine. That's a different ball game entirely. They're not saying, any child that is here must do so. You're already passing your boundaries. So I appeal to the school management to, even though while standing on their conviction, find a way to buy them in. That's how to do it, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I really needed to hear from you because, of course, you own the school, so I'm sure things like that would have happened in your school, and thank you for clarifying that. Let me ask you also, looking at it from another angle, you were saying something behind the camera before about the law, and you're saying the law supersedes the business of someone, and you could hear from someone who owns a business saying that no matter what, it's still my business. I would obey, but this is still how I want it. So what you used to say to that?
I appreciate the fact that he spoke from experience, but that does not mean that I jettison my own position.
Okay.
Because I'm of the view that the Constitution is superior to every individual opinion and individual consideration. And I'm of the view that going forward, state governments should start coming up with their policy direction with respect to this. Because this is not the first time we are hearing this. Course, even at the level of national, talking about the National Youth Service Corps, we have heard this. And I think there are so many court cases where court of competent jurisdiction have decided this. So if the court say it is legal, I'm a Christian, but it is irrespective of my faith. I'm talking about based on legality. The only thing you can do as a Christian is you advocate for what you believe in to be entrenched in the Constitution. But if the Constitution say it is legal that someone can come to school with it or wear it, the school on its own cannot make law that contravene the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That's where I stand. So that is where we need to strike a balance. The situation where the state governments should start coming up with their own policies regarding most of these issues. Because once there's a policy, it passes through the Ministry of Education, they hand it down to the, whether private or government-owned schools. I don't think any proprietor or proprietress, at the case maybe, want to flout it.
Okay, thank you very much. I also buy into your idea, but I think I would rather want to stick with what Femi said, because now Yeah, it's good to always obey the law, never flaunt the law. But I think someone sitting out to make a business plan and decide to build a business has the reason for the business. But like you said, communication is very important. There's a way you can communicate with them. There are a lot of ways to kill a rat. You don't need to take the child out. There's what they call cap. You can start sewing cap for everyone. There's what then there used to be beret. Right. People wear beret, so it's still covering up the head. There are a lot of ways to still make the uniform fashionable and accommodating for everyone.